What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. Right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here. I'm founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders like founders of P90X, Atari, now Steve Sims, and how they overcome big challenges in life and business. Our sponsor today is Rise25.com, which helps service professionals, anyone with clients, serving clients one-on-one, shift from one-on-one to working with them one-to-many and not just trading time for dollars. Go to Rise25.com. Check out and download our free Dream Product Ladder. Helps you design your business on one sheet of paper. I am excited. We have Steve Sims, founder of BlueFish, and I will make a bold statement, Steve. Listening to you expands my thinking and universe, because what I love about what you do is every time I listen to what you do for yourself and others, it makes me realize that anything is possible. And Steve started off as a bricklayer, and he's created one of the world's most recognized concierge firms, BlueFish Concierge. And he's the author of Bluefishing, The Art of Making Things Happen. It is a must listen to, a must read. I will listen to it when it comes out. And as he describes it, it's not a gopher service, not an old boys network. It's not a snobby bunch of party crashing show-offs. Don't call them to pick up your dry cleaning. Instead, they offer the highest level personalized travel and entertainment. And there's so much Steve has done. And I know, Steve, you get these questions over and over. Like I was saying, I've listened to 9 hours of video. So I'm going to get to the heart of it. And I'm going to just tell people, you've helped people take submarines to see remains of the Titanic, getting on stage and performing a Journey, going to Elton John's Oscar party, going to the Grammys. You've had someone married by the Pope at the Vatican, a private dinner in Florence in front of Michelangelo's David with Andre Bocelli, Serenade. Anyways, most cherished thing for Steve is his family and friends, and as long as he has enough whiskey and food and motorcycles. So, Steve, thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure. What an intro. I can go now.
Another common question you get is, what's on your bucket list? And you're like, there's not much. But I'm curious has there been anything in your wife's bucket list that you've been able to do?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. All right, so she's just left. I will make sure she never sees this.
I want her to see this. I'm sending this to her.
Yeah, thank you. So years ago, I realized that I hate Hallmark. I hate Hallmark because they make money out of me buying some chintzy little card to give you on your birthday. So I'm
in complete 100% agreement.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not there to keep Hallmark in business. Yeah. So what I started doing was I started celebrating Happy Tuesday, a Freaky Friday. So randomly, she'll get like some flowers, and I'll book a meal, and I'll be like, "It's Freaky Friday. Did you miss it? Did you not know?" And so it's a standing joke. But on her birthday and Christmas, she gets nothing. No card. No, and I know everyone's out there going, "Woo, bastard, horrible wanker."
Boo.
She gets nothing, but what I do is I provide her with an experience. And she is crapping her pants every year, because all the way through the years, I've sent her skydiving, unarmed combat with Navy SEALs. I sent her shooting with the head of one of the Navy SEAL teams. I won't tell you who the captain was, but one of the serious ones that went out there and did the business, went out shooting all this machinery. She's done Formula One driving. She's met heroes like Sting. But she'll go, "Oh, that'd be nice." And nowadays she goes, "Oh, that'd be nice. Don't you do that." And she'll suddenly kind of realize. So last year, and because years ago we used to do some work with Ferrari, and then when I came here I did some work with Porsche, and we actually had a Porsche, and that was the car that we fell in love with. As I say, I don't have a car now, and we got kids, so you end up with the mandatory big trucks.
Right.
She's got an SUV. So last year I sent her to the Porsche racing experience with a Porsche Le Mans winning driver who basically taught her how to drive and then scared the shit out of her for like a 2-hour learn to race a Porsche racing car. This year, she's 50. And
I can't even imagine.
This Put it this way, it's not in this country. She doesn't even know that. But it's a
lot of these are surprises, Steve. Like, are they surprises that she doesn't know, or is a lot of she knows?
She wakes up in the morning, and she has no idea. And even now, she's like, "I'm 50."
She's scared.
She said, "Don't make me run away to England. You know, don't make me disappear so you can't find me." And I'm like, "Babe, you'll love it." And a couple of times, like the skydiving.
Yeah, what's the one she hated you the most afterwards?
Skydiving and motor racing. She likes cars. She liked the Porsche, but I put her actually in a race car. And when you're in a race car, you've only got your helmet and you're about that far off of the floor. The sensation of speed is far greater, like on a go-kart.
Yeah.
And we had guys there really pushing her, and she wasn't too happy about that one in the skydiving.
I would have freaked out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the skydiving, she landed pretty badly. She didn't pick her knees up fast enough.
You're trying to kill me on my 50th birthday?
Yeah, so those two didn't go well. We did have a shark experience as well.
A shark?
But,
great white? What was it?
It was in Florida to actually get into. They had these sharks so you could actually get into a pool with no cage.
What?
And she said no. So I was like, okay then. So the standing joke is, when have I got it wrong? And she's like, I can count 3 times you've got it wrong. And I'm like, well, that's in the past. So
what did you
this year's going to be good.
What did you consider the scariest that someone actually did? Like from
Sorry?
you were actually fearful, like whether it was getting in a shark tank or something, that someone actually came to you and they wanted to do it, and you were scared for them that they wanted to do it.
You stopped me in my tracks there. I don't know if it's because I'm stupid, but I don't actually get scared.
Not for you, for them, no? Nothing.
No, because if I'm scared for them, then they're going to get scared, and therefore the fear is going to become alive, you know? But I remember one of the greatest lines ever, and I don't know if you can remember where this came from, but it was called "Fear causes hesitation, and hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true."
I don't know
where that's from?
No, I don't.
Point Break.
Great movie, yeah.
Great movie, but I just remember when he said that line, I was like, damn, you're right. The fear is the fear itself. And the more it gets scary, the bigger this animal of fear becomes. So I look at something and I will just try and be cold about it. And I will try again to dismantle it. And I will go, well, okay, what's the worst case scenario? If I walk in there and I get a smack in the head, you know, or I could get shot. All right, I don't want to be shot, but I don't mind a smack in the head, you know? So I try to weigh it up, and I always try to look to my worst downside and then kind of scale it back a little bit from there. And I do that with motorcycle racing. I do that when I'm boxing. I always try to analyze what's the worst thing that can happen here.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I go, oh, it's not a risk I'm willing to take. So I don't get to that point where I go, I'm scared, because when you get scared, you get hopeful, and you're sitting there going, I hope this goes on. I'm not leaving it to chance.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. If I'm starting to feel nervous about something, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I'm curious, Steve, what's the hardest thing you pulled off? And what I mean is, someone may see, okay, pulling off that the Vatican being mirrored by the Pope is hard, but for you, maybe that wasn't as hard as what it looks like. What on the under the surface was harder to pull off than, like, one of the hardest things that you've actually pulled off, like behind the scenes?
Yeah, I'd like to maybe say the most challenging.
Yeah, most challenging.
So the good thing about it is 20 odd years later, being able to read off the toolbox of achievements that you did earlier, when we go to anyone, we can go forward saying, hey, before you answer my call or speak to me, I'd like to show you my top 20 things I did last month.
Right.
You know,
right.
And they go, whoa, okay, what do you need? So I have that credibility to go into every conversation.
Right.
And the bigger it is, to be honest with you, the kind of easier it is. I don't want to jinx myself, but if you've got that reputation, that helps you. Mm-hmm. It's when that reputation doesn't come into play.
Right.
Like, for argument's sake, if you're trying to handle an elephant. The elephant doesn't give a crap who you are. So it's those elements where your reputation doesn't help you. I have a client that every year, and I really like this one, I try not to cry on it, every year for his anniversary, and he's been married forever, he does something absolutely wonderful for his wife. And the budgets have gone from like $25,000, I think the most was probably about $400,000 for a weekend.
Wow.
To do something to celebrate. And it's always big, private jets and taking over diamond mines and just like these palaces in Russia and just, czars. And just it's big, reenacting an 18th century village. It's always been that kind of stuff. So he contacted me because we were coming up to one of his key years, and I think it was the 20th. And he's like, 20th, Steve, And his wife knows me, so she knows it's going to be something. He's like, the 20th, this is the 20th, This is big. And I'm like, it is big. So we've got to make it, big. And so I always talk to the people.
You're egging them on, yeah.
I want to get to the root of it. I want to get to the core. So I'm like, yeah, this has got to be big. This has got to be. And I remember him using this word. This has got to be impactful. And I went, okay. Taking over the Eiffel Tower is big. Is it impactful? Not when you compare it to some of the other stuff,
Yeah.
So I went, all right, let's have a chat. Talk to me. When did you first meet her? Well, I met her at college. How did you meet her? Oh, God, it didn't go smoothly. Most introductions don't. The girls play hard to get. And I said, so, talk me through it. So we tried talking to her, and it hadn't gone very well. And, he was, there was a little bit of a break in the armor that he thought he was getting somewhere. So one day, he knew which way she went to college and went out for her dinner break. He set up a little, what they call a car rug, which is those like big check carpets. And he laid it down, and he got a hamper with sandwiches in it and some champagne in there. And he had a boombox that was playing this like romantic music. And as she came out of the college room, he sat on that rug, plays the music, offers up a glass of champagne. He said, will you join me? Now, as a college student, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
For sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's the head of a company now. So I said to him, why don't we recreate the first moment you met?
That's really awesome.
Okay? So we thought, this is going to be by far the cheapest thing. So where are you? Yes, it's summer, so there should be no rain. Get a rug. Do you remember what the rug was like? He was like, maybe we had to find a picture. And he found an old picture of when his family was on that rug. So we got a tartan rug that looked the same. Wow. He described the hamper. We got the hamper. Of course, the sandwiches were a little bit better than the sandwiches it had then. The champagne was a nice champagne. Had to be in plastic glasses for the reason you're in a public park. But here's where it came challenging, okay? Finding a boombox that Run DMC would be proud of that actually worked. So we went scouring eBay and all of these audio specialist stores. We went through 2 that didn't work. Finally found one that was mint condition and worked. And we were so impressed with ourselves when it came with the demo tape to show that it works. Now think about this. This is where it gets silly. We got the rug, we got the hamper, we got the food, we got the drink, we've now got the boombox, okay? How do you record onto that boombox from any of your MP3 players or any of your Apples or anything like that? All of the cables, we're looking at this thing going, where do the cables go? So we couldn't actually record onto this system. So that's when I contacted, one of the benefits of living in Hollywood, that's when I contacted a fellow.
Look, there's this thing I need. It's called, I think, like an audio cassette tape.
Yeah. That was the other thing. We had to order one online because, again, nowhere sells cassettes. So we had to buy a pack of 3 or whatever and then send them to him and get him to just put the music on it we liked. But, and I think the whole thing, the most expensive thing was probably that mint condition boombox. But this all happened for less than a couple of grand.
Wow.
And that was
That's
challenging
amazing.
because there was so much riding on the intricacy and the detail of that it had to be spot on.
Right.
And as we all know, and again, this is a Dan Sullivan thing, your mind polishes the past. I didn't want her remembering the rug to be green. We were very fortunate to get that picture. But we had to make it as near as perfect. But that was the most challenging, rewarding, and probably the most impactful.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. I mean, you really dig deep with these people to figure out deep down what is going to be the best experience for them. It may be things that they're asking. They may ask you for things, but you're going a lot deeper than what they're asking for, it sounds like.
At this level, rarely have I ever given anyone what they asked for.
Right.
The guy that sang 4 tunes live on stage with Journey in San Diego, his request to me was to meet the guys.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that got the table of 6 at the feet of Michelangelo's David, serenaded by Andrea, wanted an exclusive restaurant.
Yeah.
So the guy that wanted to get married in the Vatican had no idea we were going to get the Pope involved.
Yeah.
So I really try to, this will probably go on my tombstone, I want to affect people's smiles. I want someone to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning or to be stood there during a cocktail hour and someone says, oh, you know, I'm going over to Italy, do you know, and then go, actually, I've got to tell you a story. And I want them to just be glowing and I want them, my clients, to have the coolest cocktail stories you can get.
Right. Yeah. I want to encourage people to, if you have a bucket list, if you don't, write down. And, you know, every time I listen to you, Steve, and I expands my mind. I said in the beginning, it's a bold statement, but I'm sticking by it. When you listen to what you talk about and what you help people do, it expands their mind of what's possible. And even what people think's possible, you're taking it beyond whatever their wildest dreams may be. So thank you for this. Thank you for the book. People should check out Bluefishing, The Art of Making Things Happen. And I just want to wrap things up with what else should people know about the book? I don't know if there's a favorite story or a lesson we didn't talk about. What should they know about the book that we haven't talked about yet?
I don't want you to get the book if you think it's going to change your life, because it isn't. It's going to give you steps that can, but only when you stand up and action them. Yeah. And I want people to realize that this is written by a doorman from East London, and therefore you have no excuse to be able to do 3 times as much as what I've done. So you're out of excuses. Each book at the end of each chapter has a very, very simple playbook on what you need, what the action items are that you can take away and place into anything. So you can read any chapter you like. You don't have to fall all the way through the book in line. You can pick certain chapters, but it's an action book. It's not like these people that buy a diet book.
You don't want people to passively sit back, listen to this, read this, and not do anything. The point of this is to that's the subtitle, The Art of Actually Making Things Happen.
Yeah, I'll give you the art, but you have to make it happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Always fantastic. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, bud. Thank you very much for having me.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I'm feeling like a honey.